Hi guys, welcome back to LoopDev for another tutorial on HTML5 for beginners. If you haven't watched the first parts of the series, I highly recommend that you watch them first and then continue with part 7. So far, we talked about different HTML elements and learned about how and where we can use them to best optimize the contents within our web page. So today we will be learning about HTML attributes. We will learn about how we can give more power to those elements to achieve different results. So that's where attributes come into play. So the attributes in HTML provide additional information about an element. They are basically used to configure or adjust element behavior so that we can achieve different outcomes. In HTML, all elements can have an attribute. And these attributes are defined in the start tag, which usually comes in name and value pair. There are some attributes in HTML that do not have an associated value or cannot have an associated value, therefore they just have a name. To the right side, we can see the basic syntax of an HTML attribute. We can see that right here we have got this start tag. Then within the start tag here we have got the attribute. We have got name of the attribute followed by the equal sign, and within the double quotations we have got value for that attribute. There are some attributes that have got specific values and it does not accept anything except those values. But there are some other attributes that can have a value of your choice. You can just give them any value that you want. But remember that always follow the same structure for the attributes within a tag. We have got name of the attribute, and as you can see, it is this in small letters. Always keep it in small letters. Do not type it in capital letters because that is not recommended when writing HTML code. Some people do it, but it's not something that we should do. Then followed by the equal sign, and then we have got double quotations. If the attribute have got a value that you can associate to that attribute, then you just put the equal and then put double quotations first. Some people do not put that, but that's not something that is recommended. Always include the value for an attribute within double quotations, and then we put the value for that attribute. With that being said, now let's look at different types of attributes within HTML. We have got three different types. We have got specific attributes, we have got shared attributes, and we have got global attributes. Specific attributes, as the name suggests, it is used only on a specific element within our web page. For example, method attribute. It's only used with forms in HTML, right? The method attribute is basically telling the browser that we are using, let's say, a post method or a get method when we want to submit our form from the web page. Do not worry about it because we'll talk about that later when we learn about forms within HTML, but understand that method is only specific to forms. You cannot use it, let's say, on a paragraph or heading or anything else. It's just used with the form element. Moving on, we have got shared attributes. The name says it all. It is shared between multiple or many different elements within HTML. For example, source attribute. We will learn about this when we talk about images and videos, but here understand that source attribute is basically telling the browser about the location of, let's say, if you have got an image, location of the image. If you have got a video, location of that video. Keep in mind that source attribute is used for some of the elements within HTML and it's not used on all HTMLs. That's why it's called shared attribute. It is just shared between some of the elements within HTML. Finally, we have got global attribute. Well, the name says it all. These attributes are used on pretty much all HTML elements. For example, if you guys remember, we used a style attribute in our previous tutorial. A style attribute can be used on pretty much every single element that we have got in the body of the web page. We can use that to include CSS code for that specific element. Or we used lang attribute in our previous tutorial as well when we talked about quotations. we use lang attribute to tell the browser about the language that we have used, let's say for that quotation if you relate it to our previous tutorial. That can be used with a paragraph, that can be used with a, let's say, key element or block code or whatever. As long as there's a context for it, you can just use it on pretty much all the elements within your HTML document. There are a bunch of different global attributes that developers use to build websites. However, there are some common HTML global attributes that are used all the time. The first one is ID. So ID is basically used to uniquely identify an element within our HTML document. You may ask, why do we even have to identify an element within our HTML document? Well, basically, sometimes, for example, you have got an element and you want to use JavaScript to change something in that element, right? So to be able to identify that element using JavaScript, you have to put an identifier, a unique identifier to that element so that JavaScript can understand or can capture that element from your HTML document. Let's look at an example of how it's done. So here in this example, I've got this paragraph which says this paragraph is in English language. And I've got this ID for it. ID is just an attribute that can have any type of value that you want, right? So it's just custom. I like P1, so I put it P1. You can just put it anything. Here you can see that I'm following this exact structure that we talked about in the third slide. It's in lowercase followed by equal, and then I included these double quotations, and then within that I've put the value. So here we can see that when we put ID here, it's not shown to the users. It's just for our next step that we want to do, right? So now what I want is I want to use JavaScript to change this text for me, right? Now for me to be able to actually capture this element from my HTML document, I have to give this ID, right? So JavaScript can understand that yes, this is what you want to change, right? So here in this example, I've used the script element. So script element is basically telling the browser that whatever that we have got within this script element is JavaScript code. So here in this JavaScript code, I'm saying that from this HTML document, get an element that has an ID of P1 and change the content, whatever the content is, change it to what I gave you, right? So right now it says this was changed with JavaScript. So the moment that I save it, we see that automatically this has changed to what I put here. So that is the power of ID. That's where we can use ID to actually change something within our HTML document. Next, we have got class attribute. Class attribute is basically used to identify more than one element within our HTML document. Now remember, we talked about ID. ID was used to uniquely identify an element, which means that it should be used only once within your HTML document. That ID, that identifier should be used within your HTML only once. For example, here we cannot have this ID of P1 repeated multiple times. It should be only used for this paragraph only. You can have ID attribute multiple times, but this value should be repeated only once. But class is different. Class, you can use it multiple times on multiple different elements. And these are used mainly by CSS developers to actually apply the same style to different elements or different content within a web page. So that's where it's appropriate to use class attribute to achieve the outcome. Let's look at an example. So here in this example, I've given this paragraph a class attribute with a value of paragraph. That paragraph can be anything, so you can have it hello, you can have it whatever, right? So I've chosen that to be paragraph right now, so I'll choose it as paragraph. And then I've declared another P element within my HTML document with the same attribute of class and value of paragraph, right? So you can see that these two are actually matching, right? These two are matching. Now I want to use CSS to change the color of these two paragraphs to green. Let's see how we can do that. So here I've included the style element within my head tag. Now do not worry about what is the style element, why we use it and all that, because we will cover all of these when we talk about CSS in HTML. So here, just understand that dot is a CSS selector for classes, right? And here, what I'm saying to the browser that in my HTML document, there's a class that has a value of paragraph. So I will just go through my document and capture those elements. Because it's class, the browser understands that, okay, there are more than one element, or there can be more than one element that can have a class of paragraph. Once that's selected, then I said use the CSS color property and set the value to this. This is the hex code for green color. So the moment that I save this, automatically you can see that both of them actually changed to green color. That was only possible by using class attributes. Now let's say if I just change this to, if there's a spelling mistake or something else, see, it does not apply to this one because it's not matching the criteria. So if you have it correct, then we can see that it's applying to both of them. Next up, we have got a style attribute. Style attribute, which we have used it in our previous tutorials as well. It's used to include line level CSS code within our HTML document. Let's look at how it's actually implemented within a web page. So if you guys remember in our previous tutorials, when we talked about lists, we talked about unordered list. And when declaring the unordered list, all the items within this list was actually preceded with a dot. Now we were using a style attribute to change it to be either a circle or a square. Now here I've used the same thing, so it's a style attribute followed by the equal sign, and I've got these double quotations, and here this is the CSS code, which is basically the list style type property, and I've set that to be a circle. So the moment that I save this, to the right side we can see that each of the items are preceded with a circle. Finally, lang attribute, which we used it just in our previous tutorial when we talked about HTML quotations. So it's basically telling the browser about the language that we have used for, let's say, a quotation, a paragraph, or an HTML document overall. So let's just refresh that and see how it was used. So here in this example, we have got this code from Stephen King here because this was a short code, therefore we used the Q element, and within the Q element we used the lang attribute. So lang attribute is telling the browser that this code is in English. So the browser understands what type of double quotations to use. So here, the moment that I save this, automatically we can see that we have got these rounded type of double quotations. If it was French, we can see that the double quotations actually change. So that brings us to the end of today's tutorial, guys. Thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, like the video and consider subscribing to LoopDev channel to get more useful contents like this. As always, if you have got any questions, leave it out in the comment section down below and I'll try and answer them all before the next tutorial. Peace out.